William Ury and Roger Fisher told me I can get to yes by getting past no. Alexandra Carter reminded me to ask for more. And Chris Voss told me to never split the difference, even giving me a specific script to use for my car buying scenario. I'd completed an 8-week online negotiation mastery course at Harvard Business School. Plus, I had a successful career as a lawyer and a mediator, using my own hard-won negotiation skills day in and day out to get the best results for my clients. I walked into the dealership confident, informed, and excited. I knew what I wanted, I knew what price I needed, and I had the tools to succeed. What could go wrong? Everything. When the salesman quoted a too high price, I mirrored Voss's tactical empathy strategy, pursed my lips, lowered my voice, and replied, "That sounds great, but I'm sorry, I can't do that." The salesman froze. "Okay," he said, and that was it. Nothing followed, no counteroffer, no further conversation. And this was well before car shortages and supply chain issues caused by the global COVID-19 pandemic emboldened car dealers to stick to the manufacturer's suggested retail price because supply and demand was in their favor. Old-fashioned haggling over numbers was still the norm. But he refused to negotiate with me. He wasn't even giving me a "let me see what I can do" type of okay. It was just a resigned shrug. It was the same shrug I saw him exchange with another salesman when I walked in, as if he had drawn the short straw to have to attend to me. I was dressed quite nicely, but not over the top. I'd walked into the dealership that day ready to buy. What could he possibly be thinking? Why wouldn't he negotiate with me? Wait, did he actually believe that I couldn't afford this car? Voss's book didn't quite anticipate that scenario, so I persisted, feeding him the lines I had expected to hear from him. "Why don't you talk to your manager and see what he can do?" I suggested, because I really like this car. A few minutes later, the nonplussed salesman came back with his offer. "My manager is feeling generous today. He's going to take off $250. $250 off of a new car? That's it? The shoes I was wearing that day cost more than that discount." Still, following my script, I replied, "I'm happy your manager is in a generous mood today, but that isn't the price I had in mind. Is there anything else you can do?" He did the obligatory walk back to the office and returned with a "that's the best we can do." There was no negotiation, no engagement. He never even asked me what I wanted to pay. Our conversation was over. With that, he let me, or rather encouraged me, to leave the lot empty-handed. So I did. As I thought about it later, I realized that he had truly believed me when I said I couldn't meet his price. It was one of the most confusing conversations I'd ever had, and I have conducted negotiations everywhere, from rainforests in Heredia, hostels in Vienna, and clothing manufacturers in Shanghai, to markets in Accra, boardrooms in Mexico City, and universities in Ahmedabad. As CEO and founder of Breakthrough ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution, a global conflict resolution company, I find myself smack in the middle of conflict daily. I know how to negotiate, but somehow, when it came to this kind of real-world, everyday negotiation, I abandoned my instincts and followed someone else's script. Why didn't it work for me? Because at the end of the day, when I step into a negotiation, there are different forces at work than there are for people like Chris Voss, Roger Fisher, William Ury, Alexandra Carter, and many of the other smart, accomplished, and well-respected voices in the negotiation space. Of course this plan didn't work. Why? Because I was negotiating while Black, and as a woman.